Great.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are on episode 26, part 2 of the Fs in our Playing Through Our Collection video series. But before we get started, please feel free to give us a like and a subscribe if you enjoy what we're doing. Follow us on all of our social medias. We'll leave it at that.
So, our pile looks smaller than normal.
It's just smaller games.
We have a lot of smaller box games.
Yeah, we really do have a lot of small box games.
Well, we have some big box games, but they're all pretty small. Most of them. Yeah, most of them are a little small. Some of them are big.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with some small ones. So the first one we're going to start off with is Foodie Fight.
Foodie Fight.
We didn't have a chance in this game.
This isn't... I tied Justin, or did Justin finally beat me? I don't know. We only played a partial game because even our chef-trained son could not answer some of these questions. So neither of us stood much of a chance. So Foodie Fight is a trivia game for, as it states, for serious food lovers.
Apparently we're not serious food lovers.
I guess not. I do like this tagline though. Play this fun game after your next dinner party. The losers have to do the dishes. Yeah.
Everybody loses.
So it was made by Mario Batali.
That was the quote.
Oh, that's the quote. Never mind. Okay. All right. So this is interesting in that I kind of actually like these. As plain as they look, these are the where your pieces
plates
go. Yes, thank you. Your plates. Actually, that's a good yeah.
Well, you got a fork and a knife.
Yes, I see that now. So you've got your box of trivia questions. Here, I'll let you read one of these suckers while I'm pulling this out. These they weren't easy. So you roll the dice. The dice gives a color. You read a question from that color. You keep going till you miss a question. Not many of us answered more than one question in a row. And usually it was wrong. But
yeah. Well, you'd get this one.
I would.
What CIA is not an organization of spies?
The Culinary Institute. No, wait a minute. Culinary Institute. No, CIA. What is that called?
This was one of the schools that Justin wanted to go to.
I know it was. Culinary, because I thought it was Culinary Arts Institute, but that's not right.
Culinary Institute of America.
Of America. I wanted to say of art, and I couldn't. Yeah. It wasn't right. But if I had gotten that right, and there's no reason why I should not have gotten that right, that is pathetic. But you take a green pie piece and you put it in, or a plate piece, I'm sorry, a green plate piece, and you put it on your plate.
Got another one for you.
Okay.
See if y'all, well, you can't.
Actually, I don't even know what color that was.
So that was a yellow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have taken
So for a green, piece.
Okay.
True or false? Frozen food can safely be defrosted at room temperature. We only have a certain amount of time.
Okay, so logically I should say yes, but something tells me it's false.
Yes, it is false.
Really?
Frozen food should always be defrosted in the refrigerator. How many of you guys knew that?
How many of us do that wrong every day?
So. But those were easy ones.
Those were easy ones. Yes, we did not get easy ones when we played. We got a few easy ones.
Yeah, let me see if I can find one that was ridiculous.
Yes.
What 1906 novel by Upton Sinclair resulted in the enactment of federal food inspection laws?
A 1906 novel?
The 1906 novel by Upton Sinclair resulted in the enactment of federal food inspection laws?
I have no idea.
The Jungle.
Never even heard of it.
We got a lot of questions like that when we played this game. We did.
So, okay, all in all, interesting game. Some really interesting questions in there. But at the same time, not the kind of game that is going to come off the shelf at any event we take it to. This does sit in the travel collection, by the way.
It once sat in our collection.
It did sit in our collection for a while when we first found it because of Justin's profession. Like I said, he trained as a chef at Johnson & Wales up in Rhode Island, and it is going to hit the sale pile, I'm afraid. It just, as interesting as it just is not right for the collection, I'm afraid. That is Foodie Fight, a serious game for food lovers, but it is going to hit the sale collection.
Next, this is actually a solo game. It has his box on wrong.
I put it on.
She played it last.
I
This
played
is
a few
Friday. This
games
is a
of it.
Friedman Freeze solo adventure Friday. I played this a little while ago, so you're going to have to tell them how to play it, because I meant to watch a video to remind me how it plays, so it's such a memorable game.
It was actually a really interesting solo game. We are not solo players, and when I picked this up, it was because it was a Rio Grande game and a Friedman Freeze game. That's why I grabbed it off the Goodwill shelf. Got it home and discovered that all of the life tokens were missing. Well, they're tokens. That's easy to replace. So I just pulled some chips out. No big deal. So how this plays, it plays in 3 rounds. So you've got your cards for Robinson, and you are playing out cards. Oh, let me do this. So you've got your base cards, and then you've got your adventure cards. And you notice these are kind of double-sided. So when you first pull these from the deck, you're looking at this side.
Yep.
This is the side you draw 2 cards off the top of the stack, and you have to decide which of these you're going to fight, and the number you have to fight against is dependent on whether you're in first, second, or third phase. So if I have my deck of cards, I can draw, and these are the 2 I'm going to choose from. You choose one, discard the other. So, well, gosh, first thing in the game, there's no way I'm going to beat, let me turn this over so you can see them. There's no way I'm going to beat a 4 with 4 cards, because a lot of the cards in here are zeros and negative ones. So I'm going to discard this guy first off. I'll probably try him later in the game, but not right now. So all I have to do is make a 0 with 1 card. So I pull 1 card. Oh, this card has 1 health point. He is feeling focused today. So I would succeed, and I would get this card. In that case, I flip it over, and now he goes into my discard pile. The next time I draw him, I can do his action, which is I can put 1 card below the pile. But you go through your deck this way, looking at different stuff, and then eventually you're going to get harder and harder stuff. Like as I get up further, these wild animals are now at 11 in the 3rd round. Some of these pirates, 52 to beat them. I get to draw 10 cards, but it's still 52 points, which are right here, to beat him. I actually thought it was pretty interesting. It was a neat little 30-minute game, 20-minute game, whatever it was, with some interesting decisions to make. So that being said, we never really talked, because you did not have a chance to go back through it again to see what you thought. So we never really talked about whether or not we were going to keep this. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I think it's so small. I think it's worth putting on the shelf and seeing how it does. It doesn't take up any room, that's for sure. But that is Friday, a solo adventure, and he will stay in the travel collection.
Next, we have another small game. This is actually a card game, Fidelitas. This was all about making pairs.
This was no.
Well, you had to get a certain amount of people in a certain area to score points on some a scoring card.
Yeah, you have cards out in the middle. You have location cards out in the middle of the table. Location cards are double-sided. So you've got 5 locations spread through the middle of the table and people on either side. And as you are playing people down into the city locations, you have to play them to match their guild. Once you've played them to match their guild, you can do the power on the bottom, which might let you move people or take other people up or whatever. There's a number of things.
But there are people under their guild is not.
Exactly. There's a lot of guilds that the location card, there's 10 guilds total, I think, and only 5 location cards. So you're going to have people you can play anywhere. But then some of these mission cards gather characters from 4 different guilds at the manor courts. And if you can do that, you get 1 victory point at the end of the game. So you're playing your cards out and doing the powers to manipulate where people are and to get people where you need them so that you can say, okay, I've got this one done. Score it. Done.
The whole time the other people are doing the same thing. So that you're almost there and they're moving them out.
And you don't necessarily have to play on your side of the table.
No, you can play anywhere.
Yeah, you can play anywhere.
Well, because the Meeple cards are kept to yourself. Nobody knows what you have.
Correct.
the buildings you need to get them to could be on the other side, so it doesn't matter which one you're playing to.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I did enjoy the game.
Yep. This is only our second time playing it. We've had this for quite a while.
We've had this for a while. We got this as a swag bag.
Yep.
From
HoosierCon.
Yes. From HoosierCon when we went. It's a local Indianapolis convention held every Easter. So, again, we enjoyed it. However, it has also sat on our shelf for close to 6 years, and we had to unwrap it.
This was actually the first time we played our copy.
Correct.
The last time we played was Mark and Jessica.
We've decided we're going to go ahead and sell it because it simply does not come off the shelf.
Yep. And that box would not draw.
No, I'm afraid we thought about putting it in the other collection, but I'm just afraid, number one, the directions, if I remember correctly, were a little convoluted. We had to really cipher them out. And I don't want to have to do that, at an event.
Yeah, they made an easy game really hard to understand doing those directions. So.
Yeah, they really did. So anyway, that is Fidelitas, and it is going to hit the sale pile.
Next, the little box game. This is...
Oh, I hated this game.
Fish or cut bait. So, okay. I've always said that I don't like dice games that is 100% based on luck. What you're... Yeah, based on luck. And no way to manipulate the dice. Yeah. This one does not. You're rolling your dice.
The dice are neat.
Yeah.
I will give them that. They're big, chunky, colorful dice, and the symbols are all very clear as to what they are.
But Katie does a lot of times do a lot better at dice game, but here lately she has been
having a time
in the hole here or something, because she has not won many games in the last couple of months here.
Short and quick of it. You roll these 4 dice until you get 4 different symbols. You have to have one of each symbol show up on the dice. But meanwhile, if you roll the snag dice, you got to start all over again.
All while you're on a timer.
Once you have all 4 symbols shown up, which are what? The lure, the fishing rod, the bobber, and the boat. Then you can roll your fish dice. Well, guess what? There's snag icons on the fish too.
Now you get to roll all 3 if you have all 4 items there. You can go with just a lure, a pole, and the bobber.
Yeah, you can forget the boat.
You don't get to roll the blue dice.
The blue, which is
you
the
roll
big
the
one.
red and white dice.
But if you roll a snag, guess what? You're starting all over again.
Yep. But now, if you do on these dice, you roll 3 of one type.
3 of one kind.
You get the snag token, so that entire round, even if a snag comes up, it doesn't bother you.
That's
you don't
true.
have to start over.
Nonetheless,
she was having a heck of a time with this, and I would roll the 4 dice, and boom, look at that, I have them all, so now I can go do the fish.
Regardless.
Oh, you didn't leave the scorecard.
I did not. Okay. I probably trashed it almost immediately. It was bad. This is not the type of game, kind of right there with that deer in the headlights. It's not the kind of game we want to build that collection on. If I want 100% luck dice games,
you'll play Yahtzee.
The kids will recognize Yahtzee. Heck, we have, how many others have we already talked about that were better than this that we've kept? So this guy's hitting the sale pile. But that is fish or cut bait.
It might be for somebody else.
I'm sure it is. If you like the whole fishing theme, it might be. Okay, but anyway, hitting the sale pile.
So we're going to stay in the fish theme, and we're going to show you Finding Nemo.
This is, it's got a nice little board. So this is tile placement similar to Saboteur.
Here's your rule book.
There's your rule book. That's right.
It's a Milton Bradley game.
So you're rolling dice to determine how many places you get to move along the path here, along the sewer system. The goal being you're trying to get to the ocean.
You're laying the tiles that are the sewer tiles.
Exactly. I'm trying to kill myself here with the board. So you're laying these sewer tiles out. You can lay tiles on top of other tiles. There's a thing on the dice where you can take tiles away from other players, which I think is kind of indicative for a game geared toward children, but
5 and up. Hey.
Yeah. whatever.
Teaches them that take that kind of
I
thing.
guess. So yeah, it has a take that mechanic. It has the tile lane mechanic. It has the roll and move mechanic. That being said, it was actually kind of fun. It was a cute, I think, for the age group it is, this teaches a lot of mechanics that show up in more complex games.
Yeah.
And I think for that reason, we're going to hold on to this one. Yep. I think it gives them that whole thought process of how to progress yourself while blocking your opponents. So,
and don't take tiles out from behind you if you can take tiles off the board. Because you get stuck.
Yeah.
Which is what happened to me. I was way out in the lead and then I got stuck.
But still, not like you were ever in the lead on this one.
Yep.
I think I was in the lead and then you caught up with me quickly because I got stuck because I couldn't roll. I could literally move one space at a time. I was rolling threes, but I could only put out one tile at a time. So therefore I wasn't going very far, but I still won. It's a game geared toward kids. Of course I won.
That's not true. You've lost a lot of games geared towards kids.
That's true. Anyway, Finding Nemo is going to stay.
Yep. So the next fish game we got here, I got to unbury it. I didn't prepare.
No, you did not prepare.
That is Fish Eat Fish.
Don't let that open because we'll be picking up fish for a day.
Fish Eat Fish.
So, all right. So Fish Eat Fish is just, it's a capture your opponent type of game. So the whole board looks like this. It looks very generic. Kind of, well, it's got the typical out of the box type board, honestly. Similar to the same type of board as the 10 Days series.
Yep.
So there's your board. Everybody starts out with these fish. Everybody has 5 fish all over the board. If you're playing with less than 4 players or less than 5 players, you've got neutral fish. As the game progresses, you're moving your pieces anywhere orthogonal to where they are, and then you're playing cards. So if I'm right here, each of us would lay out a card out of our hand, numbered, 1 to 9 or 0 to 9?
0 to 9.
0 to 9, and then there were a couple of specialty fish in there that overruled everything.
Nothing would happen. The shark would win it all.
Yeah, would win, period. So if you win, then you, if I can get my fingers on it, gobble up the fish next to you. Simple as that. And now these 2 fish count toward your number. If, say, there's another player here, and now I'm going up against the green guy. And then if I were to win that one, I would just gobble that up. Or vice versa. Maybe he played the shark, and he would gobble me up. And then once there's 5 on a stack, you get all but 5 of them, and they become part of your permanent stack.
Yep.
You can't have those taken away. So,
but if there was a tie, everybody loses.
Everybody loses.
They all come off.
Yep. All the fish leave the game. So they beat each other up, I guess.
All the fish that were in the fight.
All the fish in the fight come off the game, off the board. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a cute game. That being said, it's not, I don't see it ever coming off the shelf over there. And quite frankly, these things are a pain in the rump. And the minute you turn this box over, if that sucker's open, you've got fish everywhere, just the way they're stored. Because, yeah, they're stored, just to kind of give you an idea here. This is how they're stored in the box. Did you see how they all shifted as I stood it up?
Well, everything went back except for the green one.
Except for
now, the best thing about the game, though, is this
the first player marker.
It's a starfish, and it is it's kind of like plaster.
Yeah. I don't understand that compared
Everything else
to these.
is plastic. Yeah, it doesn't fit the game.
No,
this should have been a plastic.
This one's hitting the sale pile. We've owned it for a long time. Then it went over to the fundraiser collection because it just never came off the shelf with us. And it still never came off the shelf. So this guy's hitting the sale pile. But that is Fish Eat Fish. I think that's the last of the fish theme, too.
So we're switching from fish to frogs. And first is Froggy Boogie.
Boogie. Sure.
Boogie?
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a blue-orange game. It's actually been reprinted with a cat theme, if I remember correctly. I went to go look it up on BGG and it pulled up with some cat theme. So I love it. I love blue-orange games. I know I've said it before. I'll probably say it again. I love their stuff. Their pieces are all these beautiful wood pieces, and I love their stuff. So this guy, geared toward children. This is a memory game. geared toward children. It's essentially what it is. You've got all of your lily pads spread in a big circle, and then you've got these beautiful colored frogs with their eyeballs in. So you put all the frogs out, and you put all the eyeballs in, and each of the frogs have 2 eyeballs, because most do. One with a little frog on the bottom and one without. So you're putting all of these into each of the frogs like this, and as you're rolling your dice, the dice are going to give you 2 colors on them. Like this would be, well, there's the red and the green right there. I don't know if you can see that through the plastic, but if you roll the red and the green, then you're going to go to the red and the green frog, and you're going to choose one of the eyes. And if you happen to choose the one without the frog on it, then you get to move ahead a step and go again. And you keep going until you accidentally pull one with a frog on it. That means he saw you and you cannot move anymore. It's a cute game. So
it's kind of weird though. You're pulling the frog's eyes out.
I should have known you'd bring that part up. You'd go there with it anyway. What? So the player pieces are these cute little baby frogs. I don't know. It's just an adorable little game. It teaches colors and pattern, or a little bit of memory.
It's just on the side. It says the eye-popping, frog-hopping memory game. Well, yes, eye-popping. You're popping them out.
So, anyway, that is Froggy Boogie by Blue Orange Games, and it will stay in the collection.
Next, we have Frog Tennis, which she was cheating at the beginning of it.
Okay, I didn't realize
I caught her, and then we were having trouble with it standing up.
Okay, so no, I'm not going to pull the whole thing out. I just want to pull this out. I was forgetting to hit the button.
Yeah, we were playing. This is how you're supposed to hit. She was doing this.
I was swinging.
Look, how is she slamming it on me so hard?
I was swinging a tennis racket.
I'm like, oh, jeez.
Okay, so the goal of this one, it makes sound effects. So it takes batteries. It has sound effects in it. I don't think the base is big enough for the fact that this thing is swinging over back and forth, because it kept falling over on us. Over. But this frog swings back and forth, and if he hits the ground, then he makes a splash sound, and the other player scores a point.
Then you played a 5.
And you played a 5. So he's going to hit the sail pile because we could not keep the silly thing to standing up. That, and it only plays 2 players. And for kids' games, I really want something that plays a little bit more than just 2 players.
Yep.
So, yeah, he is, and his inventive tennis rackets are going to the sale pile.
Okay.
It's falling back out of the box.
Frog tennis is going bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The other frog game we got is Flippin' Frog Game. This is a lot like Ants in the Pants, but you got a tree that's spinning in the middle of it, and you're trying to get the frogs launched onto the tree, which I was having a heck of a time with.
So, yeah, you are launching with these little things.
Well, you hold it when you launch.
Well, you hold it down, yes.
Yeah.
And the frogs are made of rubber and are sticking into the pieces to the tree. And I've got a little video of this, so I'll show it. But they're hanging on there, and as the tree is turning and making noises, if something hits it, it just falls off, which that's fine. You just pick it up and you reshoot it. The goal is to have the most number of frogs stuck on the tree when the tree pops out of its stand. That being said, ours never popped. It ran for 10 full minutes. Now, when I did the test on it prior to playing the game, it did pop. But then when we actually played, it never popped. He's hitting the sale pile too. Mostly because of the batteries, the sound effects, and the fact that I don't know that he works completely. I think it's a cute game for kids. It is a dexterity game. It is a cute game. However, It is not one that, because of the batteries, I'm trying to avoid batteries in children's games. If I can avoid having to have them on hand every time we go to an event, then all the better. So that is Flippin' Frogs. He is hitting he's probably actually going back to Goodwill because I'm not sure he works properly anyway. So either way, he's not staying in the collection. Are we done with frogs?
We're done with frogs.
Nice.
Right?
Now what?
We're done with frogs. Now we're going to dragons.
We're
going to Fiery Dragon. This one was one that Katie had bad luck on as well.
Well, this was a memory game, and for some reason, my memory stopped working that night.
This one, you have a big circle in the middle with these little tiles that had like a baby dragon, and you're going to turn a tile over, and wherever you're at has an animal in it. So you're going to take these tiles, they're all spread out, you're going to flip it over. If the tile you're on
matches,
has a bat, now I'm going to move 2 spaces. So, and then you can draw again. And if you draw a skull, you got to move back however many skulls are on the tile.
And these are all different. They have anywhere from 1 to 3 on them, maybe 1 to 4. I don't remember.
So it's a very easy game.
It's a very
it took
cute
Katie
game.
forever to even get out of her cave. I was almost all the way back around before she finally got out of her cave.
I was pretty pathetic. Cute game. And I think for the age group it is geared for, it is a very good game. And this is geared toward 5 and up. It's a hobby game, and it'll fit right there with all the other hobby games we have. So we are going to hold on to it. But that is Fiery Dragons.
Okay. Next, we have Fox in the Forest and Fox in the Forest Duet. This is a 2-player trick-taking game.
So is this one.
This is a 2-player trick-taking game, but this one's co-op. This one you're playing against each other.
All right. So these guys, when we first heard two-player trick-taking game, it's like kind of like Cat in the Box. How does that work?
Right.
So it works because there is a they don't call it a trump suit. They call it, what do they call it? Anyway, there's a name for it. So what is essentially the trump suit, which you're going to look for.
You keep talking, I will find it.
So the trump suit is laid out. You lay out 13 cards each. Well, you decree. Thank you. The decree card. Each player gets 13 cards. So there's some cards left in a stack, and then you flip over your decree card, and that is essentially your trump card throughout the game. But what makes this a little different is that every odd card has special abilities on it. Like the 3 says that when you play this, you can exchange the decree card, the trump card, with one of your cards. So you play your 3 out in the suit. Whether you win or lose the suit, that trick, it doesn't matter. But now you can play something else out of your hand and make it trump.
But then you would take the decree card.
You would take the decree card into your hand, right? The 1 says that if you play this and you lose the trick, you still get to lead the next one. So you get to take the lead even if you lose. It's just a really interesting game. Very interesting trick-taking game. Fox in the Forest Duet, which seems a little redundant because this is a 2-player game and duet means 2-player. But that's beside the point. It's still a different game. It's similar. Same basic footprint. Footprint's not the right word. Same basic.
It's a trick-taking game.
It's still a trick-taking game.
But these have footprints on the cards now.
Yeah. So this one has there's a
board.
Difference. This one has a board. A little 5x7. Actually, it's not even 5x7. It's 4x6 board. And the goal of this one, you're still playing out the tricks. But the difference is, you see the little footprints on the cards there? That tells you how many spaces the central piece is moving up and down this board.
Depending on who won the trick.
Depending on who won the trick, right. So if I win the trick, it's going to move toward me. If Greg wins the trick, it moves back the other direction toward him. The goal being, don't let it fall off the board. Because if it falls off the board, you have to use one of the forest tokens that block off an end and makes your trail shorter now. But the whole goal of the game is there are gems laid out on all of these square spaces, and you have to pick them up. If you land on the spot, then you get to pick one up off that board in that spot. So you're going back and forth trying to time out without talking to each other, trying to play out who's going to win. How many footprints are you going to play? Because the footprints determine your movement. It's just really interesting. But anyway, that is Fox in the Forest and Fox in the Forest Duet. Yep. Both great little 2-player card games, and both will stay in our collection.
Yep.
All right.
Next we have Fort, a deck building kind of game.
Yeah.
You're basically trying to get people to come to your fort and play with them.
Yes, basically.
Give them pizza.
So yeah, there's resources in here that you are using to help build your fort, but at the same time you're collecting pizza and toys. What else does any kid want, right? So everybody has their fort board that they are slowly building their fort up. Game ends when one person gets their fort built up to a level 5. You've got how much you can carry of your pizza and your toys, and then you have your backpack that you can store extra in depending on the size of your fort.
I don't want to be the parent that finds all the pizza in somebody's backpack.
No. But the cards are really cute. I really like the artwork. It's adorable.
Yeah, all the cards have kids' names on it.
Yeah, they do. And each of the cards have 2 separate powers on them. The one that...
What parent called their kid Worm?
I'm going to hope that's a nickname his friends gave him.
Yeah.
Not Blades, very good friends, but okay.
Zip. Bitsy.
Ace. So every card has 2 powers on them, one of which everybody gets to do. So if I played this down, everybody could pick up 2 different resources, and then one that only the person who played it gets to do. And then after you're done, because you draw up to a hand of 5, if I remember correctly, and you can follow other people's actions. In order for everybody else to be able to do this, they would have to play a wild token. This is the wild token. To be able to do this action, which is to build my fort, they would have to play, what is that, a water gun action. So, but as you're playing cards, you don't get to draw back up until it's the end of your turn. So if I want to follow somebody else's water gun action and I use this card to do it, I'm not doing the power on this. I'm doing whatever power they just played, but I'm discarding this water gun. So it's out of my hand now. So now I may only have 4 cards left when it comes to my turn, or 3 cards. So I do my action, and whatever's left has to go out into my yard. And if you leave your friends in the yard, other people are going to come and friend them, and they leave. They go to somebody else's deck. So you got
left them in the yard. You left them in the yard.
So it's an interesting play to be able to decide, okay, I really want to do this action, but man, I don't want to give up this card because I know Greg's going to steal him. So you do that action anyway. So it's just an interesting card play to, like I said, get to 5 and be able to get all your resources. And meanwhile, there's cards in here that get you extra rules that only you're playing by because they're extra scoring rules at the end of the game. It's just a neat little card game. We really enjoyed it. It's Wart.
Wart.
Oh, that poor kid.
Those have got to be kid. Their street names, man.
Let's hope.
It's their street names.
Interesting game. It is a fun game. That is Fort. It sits in the travel collection, and it will stay there.
Yep. Next, we have another big box, and this is 5 Little Monkeys. This is just one big game of a gimmick. Is all it is.
It really is, yeah.
Because you got a bed in the middle of a board with little monkeys that I don't think, did we ever get any monkeys put up there?
Yeah, we got a few monkeys put on the board. On the bed.
The bed has nothing to do with the game.
No, it really doesn't.
The monkeys have nothing to do with the game.
This reminds me of Don't Wake Daddy.
Did you really have to take it out?
Don't Wake Daddy had more theme. So, yeah, this is your bed. He at least fits in the box. If you remember the Don't Wake Daddy one, that was my biggest complaint with Don't Wake Daddy. He didn't fit in the box. So you start with the game with the bed down, and
the bed will pop, knock people off, and then they have to get back in bed. If
the monkeys stay on the bed, then they get to stay there. If they don't, they fall off. You can put them back on later. But this has nothing to do with winning the game. Winning the game is getting tokens.
You're collecting one of each type of token.
Yeah, you're collecting tokens off the board
As you go around.
As you go around. And as long as you can hit all 4 color squares, you're set.
And they don't do anything. Unless, I guess, if you like past that, since it has a foot, you get to put a monkey on the bed. I don't think I even seen that in the directions.
I didn't either. I don't know.
So yeah, it's you roll you're spinning a spinner for one.
Yeah.
But and you move, and once you land on some, if you don't already have that token, you're gonna take that token. And when you have all the tokens of all the colors, no matter how many monkeys you have on the bed, you're gonna win the game. And I think you took 4 turns and had all the tokens.
Maybe 5. Regardless.
Yeah, I think I had 1 or 2.
It was like a 5-minute game.
Yeah, it was really quick. I mean,
so
it's a big box game that could be in a little bitty box because you don't need the bed.
Well, and
I think it's for ages 3 and up. I get that. Okay. Yes.
But
and it's for them to have something to do. Press the button. Oh no, is the bed going to pop up? Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the game.
I don't see it having anything that challenges a child, though. I mean, set collection is about all it teaches you. And the set collection is completely random. He's hitting the sale pile. Yeah. I just don't, it's not the educational type of thing I want. 5 little monkeys, it's hitting the sale pile. Any more animal themes?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Now we're finally back to human themes.
We have space, we have water world, we have Vikings, and we have gens. This is 5 tribes.
Yes. This one, you're bidding for first player. That's how every round starts, as you bid for first player. The game board is made up of a series of tiles with different information on them. So up in the corner is how many victory points they're worth, and down in the bottom is what happens when you land on it. Not necessarily when you clear it, but when you land on it. When that's where you finish your turn. Then you get to do that action. But to finish your turn, you have to land there by an exact count with a stack of meeples, mandala style. Mancala style, where the color meeple that you're dropping on that tile matches a color meeple that's already sitting there. So you can't just go there arbitrarily. If I want to go there and all that's left is a white meeple, I need to find another white meeple on the board with enough other meeples with him that I can drop one off all the way to him to land there. Sounds easy. A little trickier than it sounds. So very interesting game. Lots of strategy and a lot of AP, quite frankly.
Yeah, a lot of strategy, but that strategy, you could probably have your next 2 turns figured out.
You can't do that in this game.
One person will take the meeples you wanted to stay in one place.
And they may not even take it. They may just drop an extra one on that tile as they're going someplace else. And now you have too many and you can't get there.
You can strategize to a point to where, okay,
this is what I need to do.
If this can happen, this is what I'm doing. If not, maybe I can go over here and do something else.
But lots of meeples in this one. This one actually has a knot in it, so I'm not going to take them all out, but tons and tons of meeples. You've got cards to collect, so there's a set collection aspect to it. There's pieces that get laid out on the tiles as the game goes on, and these are all worth points at the end of the game. So if you own one of these tiles, mind you, if you clear a tile, you put one of your camels on it. So that shows that you own that tile now, and you get to score those 8 points at the end of the game, plus whatever happens to be on the tile that may be worth points. So I don't know. I have always loved this game.
Yes, this has always been a good one.
We don't get it out very often because we do enjoy it more than 2 players.
We have so many games.
And we have so many games, yes. So this sits in both collections. We have a copy in our collection, and I did find a copy to put into the other collection and in the travel collection. And it's going to stay in both. I think I really enjoy it. It's a great
because once we get outside of just doing the competitions and get into other places of doing game nights or whatever, it'll come off.
Yep, most definitely. So anyway, that is 5 tribes, and it will stay in the collection.
So now we'll leave the heat of the desert to go to the north and be with Vikings. I am not going to tip this one up because our insert sucks.
Okay, so yeah, I bought a 3D printed insert without realizing it would not sit flush in the box. And though it makes gameplay very easy, it does not make storing it easy.
Yeah, you can't sit this up on it.
So we've got lots of pictures. We're going to leave it at that. So this one is
an Uwe game.
This is an Uwe game, yes. It is a big Uwe game.
You got to feed the people at the end of the round.
Yep. It is a tile lane, polyomino, pick your action amongst a lot of actions.
Yeah.
The original board was like over 50 actions you could choose from.
Yep. And then we got the Norwegian.
Yeah, we got the Norwegian, which made it a little better for 2 players because it had a board specifically for 2 players, so it made it a little bit
took
tighter,
out a lot of the
which was nice
stuff, and then added that one row of
it added that extra row.
You can put 1 or 2 meeples out there on the
but
very
it ends
end,
your turn.
But it ends your turn.
It ends your round.
The farther across the action you get, the more.
That's where I was going. So the board divides everything, and that's what's unique in this one. I think is the board divides everything into the number of Vikings you have to send to go do the action. So the easy actions or the smaller actions only take 1 Viking to go do them. It only takes 1 Viking to go hunt that fish, to go fishing. But if you want to go after that larger game, you're going to need to send 2 guys or 3 guys.
Yeah, if you go after the whales, it's 3.
So you have different actions throughout the game that cost 1, 2, 3, or 4 Vikings.
Yep.
The Norwegian expansion brought in a 5th column where, okay, this is just kind of residual. It's a good action.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
It only takes 1 or 2 meeples to do it, or Vikings to go do this action. But the minute you lay a guy down there, that's it. Your round is over.
So
doesn't matter how many
people
you have left.
If you have 1 guy left, and you're like, "What do I do?"
He's a great way.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's a great way to go.
And that's exactly how we use that column all the time. I never waste. You don't waste actions in this game. So you only get 7 rounds, and each round you're getting an extra person. So by the end of the game, you've got like 11 people to work with. But if you're doing actions that take 4 people, that's still not a lot of actions.
You're running out of actions.
Yeah.
You may be sitting there for 2 or 3 turns while somebody else is finishing off their actions.
Yes. It is a great game. Meanwhile, you're trying to, and I think now the boards are all at the bottom, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
So meanwhile, you are trying to build out your board with all of the treasures you have found.
And the board is covered in -1s.
Yeah. But to get more income, you have to start. You can actually start anywhere.
Yeah.
But you're not getting any income if you do. You've got to start down in the bottom corner and build out in order to build your income.
Yeah.
But all the -1s that you really need to cover or try to cover by the end of the game are all up on the outside edges of a board.
And the only way to get income is if the row below the number and to the side of the number is fully covered, filled, and everything in between there is completely covered.
Yep. So very interesting game, very large game to pull out. So therefore, it does unfortunately not come out very often, but it is a great game. We do definitely enjoy it. So yeah, he is going to stay in the collection as well. When we feel like a good heavy Uwe game, he comes out.
Yep.
Even if I don't necessarily like the insert. So anyway, that is A Feast for Odin.
And there goes tokens all over the place.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Okay, next we are going to the world of Firefly. And we're going to start off with Tall Card. This is, okay, if you've ever seen the show, there's a bunch of times they're sitting at the table in their kitchen or in a bar and they're playing a card game. Never in the show or the movie do they actually say how the game is played. So
we just see the cards,
Somebody took the idea and added the poker, basically
the poker
a regular
set,
5-card draw poker game with it, and added the round tall cards to it to make somewhat sense. But it didn't.
The rule book, the rule sheet is not super clear.
Oh no.
I feel like I really wanted to like this because it was.
I thought it was really cool. I was like, hey, look at this. This is because we really like Firefly.
Yeah, we adore the Firefly series and the movie. Love it. I love I love that world.
Yeah.
The world is fascinating. The chemistry of the actors they chose just draw you in. And we got addicted to this series several years back. But
this, as you said, was
this
literally
is
it's 5-card stud
yeah.
with tall cards that if you took the tall card, then
it gave you extra bonuses.
Yeah. But the bad thing about the directions were horrible.
I think this was overly complicated.
Yeah, that
for
made
no
it overly
reason.
complicated. But in the direction, it tells you it comes with an expanded deck, but says you have to go out to the verse to find the directions of it.
You got to go out to the cortex.
Yeah, go out to the cortex to use
i.e.
it.
the internet,
which they're no longer found.
No, we hunted. We couldn't find them anywhere.
Yeah, we looked everywhere for these. So we have another full deck that's an expansion for this game that you can't play because there's no rules for it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So why would you put an expansion in your box
if you're not going to provide the rules for it?
So we're being so negative about this game, though.
We both really wanted to like this game because we like the world, and it just fell flat with both of us, unfortunately.
Yeah. The whole idea of the game, I was like, this is going to be cool. They play this on the show all the time.
Yeah.
But it's poker overly complicated. So this will be sold off.
This is going to hit the sale
or
pile.
Donated someplace. Or
yeah.
I mean, if you're really, really into big Firefly and you're really, really big into poker and want to
and
try and
maybe
make
that
heads
would
or
make
tails,
the difference.
let us know. Yeah.
If you are a poker player or you like the poker mechanic, then great. I'm not a poker player. I'm not really. It's not trick taking. I'm usually not.
Yeah.
I don't play cards. So
yeah, because we even went to the Toy Vault who put this out, their website, and they don't even have the game on the website anymore.
Unfortunately. So anyway, that is Firefly Tall Card, and it is hitting the sale pile.
Yep. Next, we have Firefly Shiny Dice. This is it's a Firefly game, so he's like, hey.
This has been in our collection for a really long time.
Yeah.
And again, another one I wanted to like. And it was fine. I was enjoying it, but I felt... All right, so with this one...
Yeah, you enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
I did not, because it's a dice rolling game, and everything hinges on what you roll.
And this is where I thought it was very confusing. It's up to 5 players. They provide 2-player mats.
Yep.
That's it.
Only
just
2-player mats.
Which doesn't make much sense to me.
So you're moving the player mats around.
You are. But there's only one set of dice. Only one player goes at a time. So you are passing the dice around. It is a push your luck kind of game. You roll all your dice out. You do the actions of the dice. You take out the bad guys, which is, oh gosh, who they have in here? Nishka,
Badger, and Saffron.
So you're working to take out the bad guys. If at any point you can't take out all of the bad guys, there's only 5 bad guy dice. If at any point you can't take out all 5, then your turn is over and you pass everything on to the next person. But if you do, and you have enough dice left of your crew members that you could potentially win another round, you go again. And you get to keep doing that as long as you're comfortable with the number of dice you have left.
And although there's sometimes you get a mission that will tell you have to continue on.
Yes, there's mission cards too. That if you are, there's keywords on the missions that sometimes you have no choice but to go on.
Yeah.
So my biggest complaint with this one was the sheer complexity of what should be a simple dice game.
Yes. This
is all the actions. Literally every single turn you are feeding through all these actions, and they're not just simple actions. Some of these are, we had to refer to this card literally every single turn,
because you had to remember
that. We had to refer to the rule book.
Yeah, because you had to do once you rolled, because you rolled once, and then there's certain dice that allows you to re-roll.
You gain points throughout the game for every bad guy you take out.
Right.
But you don't get to actually keep those points until you say, okay, I'm done. And then you can put everything behind your screen.
But if you continue, those points
You're
stay
risking
out.
those
And
points.
if you go through and you don't make it, all those points go away.
Yeah.
The only thing you get to keep is your cargo.
Yeah. Again, another one I really wanted to like, and I did enjoy it to a point. I just thought it was way more complex than it needed to be.
And people who like the Firefly theme, which we do, we wanted to like it. Or people who really like rolling dice is going to like it, I think. But
I think a big part is if we played it more often, it would probably be fine. Oh, I've got a kitty cat trying to come up. If we played it more often, it'd probably be fine. However, hi, you haven't made an appearance recently.
Well, Jarvis makes an appearance.
You have not come up to visit later.
Of the video.
If we played it more often, that'd be fine. But we've literally owned it for probably 5 or 6 years now, and it has only come off the shelf twice.
So what do you think about the game, Jarvis? Are you here to give the reviews?
Like, no, I'm just going to lay down.
We don't have any cat games this time.
Nope. Anyway, this guy is hitting the sale pile. Now, my brother and his wife both very much enjoy this game. So, and I know they've been looking for another copy specifically for the extra mats. So,
Joan, it's getting donated.
If you want it, it's all yours. Otherwise,
but we're not going to tell you, which means you have to watch the video to know that we're going to donate this to you.
Anyway, that is Shiny Dice, and unfortunately, it is leaving the collection.
Yep. So, we have so far had 3 Firefly themed games come through, and
2.
We had Firefly Clue as well.
We did have Firefly
and all
Clue.
3 so far have gone away.
Oh, that's so sad.
Now,
considering how much we love that series.
We have Firefly the game.
Spoiler alert.
That will stay for a long time. This is my all-time favorite game.
This is Greg's number 1 game. And this one...
This is, I think, a very thematic pick up and deliver game.
This is, I think for pick up and deliver, this is probably one of the most thematic ever. And I know if you're not big into the universe, yes, it's still just a straight up pick up and deliver. But I think understanding the universe and understanding who the people are that you're referencing makes the game that much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
So we played it this past weekend with Ben and Connor. And Connor, he and his wife are big fans of the game as well as the series. Ben had seen the series once a long time ago, so he wasn't sure about everything, but he still said he enjoyed the game. So yeah, really good game. I'm not gonna pull it out.
Yeah, this was Connor's wife Hannah's favorite game
too,
as well.
Yeah. So
she has good taste.
Anyhow, so this one is, again, it's all pick up and deliver. You're going to various planets that are familiar to the series, but you're you got to avoid the Reavers. You're avoiding the Alliance cruiser and the Corvette.
Yep.
We have both of the side expansion boards, but
Blue Sun and Fidelitas,
yes, but we also have what they call the
pirates and
yes, we have that too, but I mean we have the big mat.
Oh yeah, the big mat.
We have the mat that you just roll out and it's all 3 boards put together, and it shrinks them down just enough to make it not quite so bad of a table hog.
Yeah, it doesn't shrink it down much.
It doesn't shrink it down much, but it does shrink it down just enough.
We had to put it from corner to corner on Connor's game table. That he did such a great job of building himself.
Yes, he did.
It was really cool.
The pandemic project for him.
So Katie will put a picture up here of it spread out.
Yep, I will
see it.
I mean, if you want to hear more, Greg talked all about it in his
top
favorite games of all time. Yeah, this is number 1.
Yeah, so. Fantastic pick-up delivery game. If you ever want to play it and you say me, I will play this game when anybody wants to play it.
It can be a long one. It's my only complaint on it is that it can be a really long game.
Yep. And Hannah, if you're watching, you want to play it, let us know.
All right. Anyway,
we'll come over and play it.
That is Firefly the game. If I can pick it up, because this stupid thing weighs a ton, it is staying in the collection.
Yes.
As if there was a question.
No question at all. And last but not least, we go to Waterworld with Flotilla. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say Waterworld?
The movie with Kevin Costner? Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I only saw bits and pieces of it. It was not memorable. Anyway, So this one is, yes, it is very similar. It's not based on the movie Waterworld, but it might as well be. So this is an interesting one. This is a heavy Euro. It's probably one of the heavier we own.
And we played this just yesterday with our future daughter-in-law, Journey.
This is one of her favorite games.
Yeah, she
which
loves
blows
this game.
my mind.
She really likes this game, and she doesn't care if she wins or loses.
No.
It doesn't matter to her.
No,
she just wants to play the game.
Yeah. This is when everybody starts out on what's called sink side of your board. So you've got two different versions of this world. You've got sink side where you are running skiffs and going out into the ocean to search for resources. You're diving. Thank you. Then you have to swing back by your docks to unload those resources so that you can sell them to get money, to buy more skiffs, to buy construction platforms to help you get victory points. Meanwhile, you're doing influence actions to pick up more cards. So there's a little bit of a deck building aspect to it. But at some point in the game, you can flip over to what they call the sky side. And now the sky side is no longer diving. They're actively building the flotilla. So they're building the living spaces for everybody else. And they are now
bunches of points.
All the stuff that you're selling all the stuff that the divers are selling to the market, they're now buying from the market so that they can build. So there's a very interesting balance on exactly when you decide to flip and go.
And you don't have to flip at all.
You don't. Journey never did
flip, and
I waited till very close to the end
only because I beat you by one turn.
Flipped literally the same turn I was going to do it. Made me so mad.
Yeah, because when you're building that flotilla, each tile, because it's when you're seaside or sink side, you are putting out tiles every round to be able to go and dive those areas. When you flip over now, any tile that you have put out that had a construction sign on it, you got rid of, except for your starter tile. But all the other tiles go in a stack in front of you, and now you're going to flip those over, and the other side has the flotillas on it, and you're going to use those to build. And each tile has how many resources it's going to cost you to put that tile out.
Yeah.
And you also turn your cards over because they're dual sides, one's sink side, one's sky side. So you turn them over, and now you got all these cards that you're going to play, and the powers change depending on that side. But yeah, it is really, I think it's really cool.
It's a long game. A game typically takes us about 3 hours for three of us. Now, that being said, all three of us have some serious AP in this, so I'm sure it would be shorter if we didn't have the AP. But there's just so many choices to make. Even though all of your actions are dictated by your hand of cards, there's still a lot of choices to make.
Oh yeah.
So, is that box in your way?
I feel
there you go.
There's more points to score up on top.
I feel like there is, but if you don't spend enough time down below,
you need to get a lot of cards.
You've got to have those tiles open to you and your cards open to you. You need to build up your resources or your money before you can even do anything, because before you flip over. So I feel like there's a fine balance on sink side, trying to build up your resources, but you have to sell resources to get money.
Yeah. So you got to plan when you sell your resources just right.
Yes, because the market fluctuates.
Because you want, like any market, you want to sell when it's high and buy when it's low. And
so the guys up top are buying, which is raising the prices up. So now the guys down below on the sink side can sell their stuff at a higher profit, which lowers the price back down for all the guys up top. So they're buying it up to build with, which is unfortunately giving them victory points. So there's a balance.
So I mean, it's a balance, because there's things that people sky side do that's helping the people sink side.
And vice versa.
People are doing sink side that's helping the sky side. So
very good game.
Yep, it is.
It is going to stay in the collection for sure. We do very much enjoy it.
It is a hard one to teach for somebody who's never played.
It is. Yeah.
There's
a bit going on.
So. Yep, that's Flotilla.
Yep, and it will stay.
And that is the last one for this.
That is it.
Round.
All right. In the meantime, from Jarvis,
who's sleeping again,
and us, well, it's a weeknight. This is normally his snuggle time on the couch, and we're not on the couch right now. So he came to find us instead.
So
Anyway.
until then, we'll see you next time.